I'm ready.
Amber, if you're out there and you're listening, we're all so worried about you.
Jessica, I start from you. In male-centric military and spy thrillers, it is not always easy to find such strong female character, and also so well told in private and intimacy, as we see in this series. How was the hardest part to play this very complex character like Amber?
It was a lot of fun because she is this enigmatic character that has all of these facets to herself and her personality, and it was quite fun painting her against the damsel trope and going away from that and seeing how I could make her as human as possible, and which includes all sides. And it was a journey. You know, her you take that personality and then you put them through a trauma, and it was a thrilling ride.
Luke and Mikkel, during those 10 hours playing, we almost never clearly understand who are the heroes and who are the bad guys. Because the feelings that I had is that there are no heroes in this story. I found this perspective very innovative and interesting. Do you agree with me?
Totally agree with you. Yeah, you've totally got the theme here, is that, you know, what's going on between these characters and everybody else in the story, where there are some, you know, very important other characters, Spanish-speaking characters from South America, that there's no good guys and bad guys. It's a very desperate situation. The whole story is you know, it's laced with trepidation, danger, decisions that will possibly you'll regret for the rest of your life, the choices human beings make in the face of, you know, no options. What do you do? How would you save this person that you love? How far would you go? When also then these characters are discovering things about each other. There's a lot of dishonesty, mistrust plays a huge role within this story. You know, that sets a fabric of very, very interesting characters and storyline.
I completely agree with Luke. The lines between good and evil are very blurry at times in our show, and I think that makes for very interesting and complex characters.
I think that's a hard question to answer, because it's like asking you, you know, if I ask you how much did your childhood influence you or something. In a way, that was my first, you know, being a reporter was my first professional thing. But now I've been a screenwriter for almost as long as I was doing nonfiction. And I guess I try to keep the childhood alive and bring, for me, it's like when you're looking at a scene or looking at a story, I always try to ask myself, what would really happen? So if somebody is a military elite special forces operator and he has to go and try to grab somebody out of a house, in a way, it's a very easy question. You just have to ask, how would they do it? And you can find out. You can call those people and ask them, what would you do? And that's how I usually approach it, in terms of the moves within inside of a plot. And then of course there's a lot of work of the imagination where you have to I try to put myself in those positions and work out what the imaginative emotional experiences would be for those characters. So I guess it's a way too hard of a question, but I hope that's a little bit of an answer.
What did you learn from Colombia while preparing the series? What impressed you most about that country? Why did you decide to play this story there?
I mean, I was just remembering, Colombia is a country that was in a civil war for 50 years that ended very recently. I mean, of course, every nation has its periods of tremendous violence. The US is no exception. But our civil war was a long time ago. At least the armed part of the Civil War in the US was a long time ago. And so Colombia is just emerging from the Civil War. And I think there's a lot of energy that comes out of that transition. And of course, I got to meet a lot of people there, and working there, you can develop relationships and make great friendships and all of that. And it's a beautiful country visually, amazing to look at, amazing, and very diverse kinds of landscapes and jungle and beaches and cities, and everywhere you would turn the camera, it's just, I suppose for me, from being from New York City, like very unique looking, you know. And I'm much more familiar with Rome before this show than I was with Bogota. So it was a great privilege and an adventure to go down there and see what people were concerned with, and try to incorporate some of the actual conditions of contemporary Colombia into this kind of big horsepower genre story with lots of like tension and momentum and action and suspense. No, I was always thinking 2 hours, and then I realized the great advantage of 10 hours is or a theoretical advantage, if you can capitalize on it, is that you can go deeper and have more characters, and in a way involve the audience on a longer journey. I wouldn't say better, but longer for sure. And that was an interesting kind of something new to me. I'd never done it before. And you can tell certain kinds of stories, I think, are more suited to that length of time. Of course, you could also tell the story in 2 hours, but you wouldn't have, as one example, you wouldn't have the space probably for really strong Colombian character, or many strong Colombian characters. Mm-hmm. And so it can make, the world becomes bigger in 10 hours. And I like that a lot because it feels right.
You did nothing wrong. We're gonna find a way out of this.
I can't let her die. I'm not gonna let her die.
My name is Amber Chesborough, and I'm being held against my will in Venezuela.
You want answers?
She's his wife, she's my sister. We're desperate for something.
You better go down there. Take care of your sister.
We don't need money. This is political stuff. Don't worry about it.
My brother and my husband are in special forces.
I know how these decisions are made. They won't approve a raid. We have to get her out.
I guess we should cancel dinner.
How many lives are you willing to trade for your sister? The CIA wants a war, and you're going to give it to them.
The truth is, democracy is dead in North America. We reject your influence.
Don't fantasize of a rescue. They can't find this place.
You don't know my family?